as America is being completely invaded at the border, we have no southern border. And half of a country is marching over that border right now. Mike Johnson went down there to visit. Jim Jordan went down there to visit. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is commenting on that visit as they impeach Mayorkas and use this as part of the impeachment and treason against Joe Biden.
That the right thing to do is impeach the Secretary of Homeland for failing the American people and absolutely breaking his oath to the American people to defend the United States of America and protect our border.
In order to get the work done at the border, we need more resources. DHS needs more resources. Our Border Patrol agents need more resources. We need more immigration judges. We need more resources to get this done. House Republicans keep getting in the way of doing the work to deal with what we're seeing at the border. So they're obstructing. House Republicans are obstructing. That's what they're doing right now.
That's Karine Jean-Pierre desperately trying to pin this on Republicans. It's your fault. You didn't give them enough money. And she's all, we just simple, give us more money and then we'll fix the border. Well, apparently has nothing to do with them inviting illegals over from the very beginning of the Biden regime. This is their version of leadership, not the buck stops here. They're all, it's Republican, it's the Congress. You know, we can do nothing.
What she just said is patently absurd. Of course, they want more money to process illegals into the country, Larry. We're down here on the border at Eagle Pass. This has been the epicenter of the problem, of course. This administration has opened the border wide for the whole country. We have people coming in from over 170 countries, and it's at epidemic crisis proportions. You cannot overstate the humanitarian catastrophe that we have here.
You know what angers me is anytime you've been to the airport and they have to check your license and look at how much scrutiny they scan your luggage before you just move from one state to another in this country. Fly from one town to another in this country. They have to do a full evisceration of your rights and do like a giant scan of you, run you through a metal detector and look at your southern border. These people are walking through. Many of them without ever being touched by or even seen by a federal agent. And it's intentional by this government. Two-tiered justice system. Illegals have more freedom than we do.
No, this is intentional. These are policy choices that got us into this situation, Larry. We passed H.R. 2 7 months ago. Our legislation, the Secure the Border Act, does exactly what is necessary to stem the flow and get on top of this crisis. It would restore the Remain in Mexico policy that worked so well under the Trump administration, end catch and release. It would rebuild the wall, finish building the border wall. This is an important deterrent. And importantly, it would do the things that we know can be done. The president doesn't even need new federal laws. He needs to enforce the ones that are on the books. He could do much of this by executive order, but he refuses to do it. And if we would make these simple changes, we could solve this problem. But right now, it's completely out of control.
So this shuts down Karine Jean-Pierre that it's not a matter of money. Biden could just, with executive order, end all this just by enforcing the law. It wouldn't even require more money. In fact, when Trump steps in, he doesn't have to spend one dime, and all of this will cut off and end overnight. It ends this November.
The Biden administration has lost track of nearly 100,000 minors who came across the border who were unaccompanied. They're lost in the system. It's absolute madness. Trafficking has become the #1 business of the cartels, and it's estimated that just here in the Del Rio sector, the cartels are making $32 million a month in trafficking human beings. That's over $1.5 billion a year. And the Biden administration cares nothing about this. They do nothing to stop it.
Well, it's not that the Biden doesn't care about the human trafficking. It's they probably see the $32 million a year the drug cartels are doing in human trafficking. Biden sees that as job growth. This is part of his economic growth plan. It's the only good news across the United States is the human trafficking and fentanyl business from the southern border. That's his most enduring legacy.
Treason. I keep calling it treason because that is absolutely what it is. And when I talk to my constituents and people across the country, they are literally saying that impeachment is a great start, but that we should be holding the Biden administration for treason. And that is such strong wording. It's unbelievable to hear people say that. And it's I can't even believe that that's how I feel about it, too. But we are going to have to push the White House while we impeach their Secretary of Homeland because they failed America, and everybody knows it.
Treason is different than just impeachment, and I think it's appropriate here that he has deliberately betrayed America and Americans with the illegals coming over. But here's Jim Jordan.
One sentence: no money can be used to process or release into the country any new migrants. One simple sentence would solve this. Tell the president, hey, we know you caused this problem. You're right, Liz. The magnitude of this problem, we are on pace, state of Washington now, but we're on pace to get to the entire population of the state of Ohio. We're on pace to get to 12 million people in President Biden's 4-year term.
So that is the treason where they're displacing a population the size of Ohio with brand new illegal voters. So that is the betrayal.
We've been looking at Secretary Mayorkas and how he has mishandled this situation, but I think it's part of the whole administration. Understand, the American people know the magnitude of the problem. They also know the cause. Day one, January 20th, 2021, Joe Biden takes office. That day, they decided they were going to stop building the wall. They were going to end the Remain in Mexico policy, where you would evaluate their claims while they waited in Mexico. And then they also said, we're going to release people who come to the country. The Biden administration intentionally, deliberately, willfully did this to the nation, and they now understand the magnitude of it, as you point out, all the way into Democrat cities, and they want accountability. And part of that accountability is looking at the impeachment inquiry process we have for Mr. Mayorkas and, of course, for the president himself.
And that impeachment can't come fast enough. Frankly, I think it's too late. The damage is done. It really doesn't even matter. At this point, I just want him voted out of office this November. Let's kick these guys to the curb. Now, here's Speaker Mike on their visit to the border. Look at this. Here's Eagle Pass just weeks ago versus yesterday. So on the left is what it looked like before, and then they did a massive cleanup job on the right. The Biden administration decided to divert the flood of illegal immigrants to another location in order to keep them out of the camera shots during House GOP's visit to Eagle Pass. Don't be fooled. They're still being released. This is about their brainwashing you using the media.
The southern border. Are you going to do anything about it? The record number of migrants.
Well, I need more money to protect the border. That's not the buck stops here. Once again, it's the Republicans' fault.
And then, of course, the ultimate remedy is you got to have a new president. You got to have President Trump back in the White House. That's where the American people will weigh in. And I think they're getting ready to do that this coming November.
And this is why President Trump is winning at the numbers that he is winning in the primary. And this is why he's also beating Joe Biden poll after poll after poll, because President Trump had the best border policies and Americans felt safe when we had President Trump in the White House defending our southern border.
And that is the final solution is you have to get Trump in the White House. And this is going to be made clear. This is not about Trump versus Biden. This is about if you want an open border and you want complete chaos and you want to destroy America, then you vote against Trump. If you want to save America, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of Trump. Simply, if you're a fan of America, then you'll vote for Trump.